Hello, my name is Lynette Sheard, and on behalf of Greg Burrus Productions, it is my honor to bring to you this evening two of the performers as part of a trio called the Leonieke Scheuble Trio, which is made up of Leonieke Scheuble, Nick Scheuble, and Bill Crow. This is the trio, Jazz Across Generations, and how fitting that April is Jazz Appreciation Month, because we're talking about music that transcends time. And so we have three generations of performers who have been inspired by what came before and in the midst of what's happening now as it relates to jazz music. When we talk about music and Greg Burrus Productions, I'm so honored to be a part of just live music in the middle of a pandemic. Every Sunday, we have something to look forward to, something to be inspired by. So we have these performers. We have two of them here tonight. We have two pieces of the trio tonight. We have Leonieke and we have Nick. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and then we're just going to have a conversation. So I think we'll do ladies first. So ladies first.
Okay, well, hello. My name is Leonieke Scheuble, and I am so delighted to be here with you, Ms. Sheard, and thank you to Mr. Gregory Burrus for having us on Sunday. Really looking forward to it, and it's really going to be special. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
And I'm Nick Scheuble, same last name. And as always, we look forward to working with Greg. It's been for many, many years now, because I was playing with, before Leonieke, with Mike Kaplan and Ben Williams and the groups, you know, Downtown After Sundown for many years. And it's always been a thrill. He's so easy and nice to work with, you know, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to you. I have a question for both of you. You know, I mentioned at the beginning about, you know, live music in the midst of a pandemic. How are you all surviving this pandemic? How are you doing?
Well, it's such a crazy time to be growing up in, especially for me, because, you know, going to school and dealing with all of this, it's very different, and it's affected all of our lives a lot. But for me, I have to say, and this might sound a little bit strange, but it's one of the happiest times in my life, because I've taken this time to really work on my music, work on compositions and learning tunes. And what we started, you know, safely with masks and distancing, is we started doing some outdoor backyard like music sessions with Mr. Crow, who's going to be there on Sunday. And this is really, I guess, like a once in a lifetime experience to be with, you know, a master that has played with everybody. He knew Billie Holiday, hung out with Charlie Parker, knows like everybody. And
Wow.
So there's been, and I think you can say it too, like there's been kind of this gel from, you know, just jamming in this crazy time together.
Yeah, that's one of the positive things is we had to go outside. You know, we couldn't play inside, so we went out in the backyard and we organized sessions. And it's the three of us, but also sometimes pianist Tomoko Ono and guitarist Flip Peters and Rick Savage on trumpet. We've had different people come by, and what it's like, it's just not music. It's a total hang. We get pizza and Bill likes pizza with meatball, so we get pizza and we play tunes, and then Bill will tell us, like we were called, what tune was it? It was
Best is yet to come.
The Best Is Yet to Come. And the composer, we're talking about the composer, and Bill says, I knew the composer before he was a composer.
Wow.
And so when we're ready to play these tunes, he'll tell you the story. Oh yeah, I remember when this tune was first introduced, and you know, and he's telling all the background information and all the story. So we might only play 7 tunes in the whole afternoon, but we're hearing, you know, all the history behind every tune, and his memory is like crystal clear. It's a total fantastic hang, you know. So that's what happened during the pandemic. That's one of the things that happened.
You know, it's so inspiring to hear that, because it's interesting how we have the 3 generations, and to have someone, you know, to have someone like Bill remember those memories, to share those memories. It's one thing to have them and to just know that you were there and be inspired by that and to be filled by that, but to share it with other musicians, to share it with everyone. Because what's so cool, this is what we're doing tonight. You all are telling a backstory for the next generation.
Yeah.
Whether it's your connection with Bill, you know, the connections as a family, that's what music does. And so you all are putting together 3 generations. How powerful is that? Of music, and having the opportunity to still have him in our presence.
Yeah.
You know, and to get a chance to play and to hear the backstory. Do you think that hearing the backstory and understanding kind of the, I guess, the organic flow of the music, how it came to be, does that influence how you play it?
I don't know. What do you
I
think?
think absolutely.
Yeah.
For me. Right.
Yeah, I mean, somehow it puts me in that place, or what I think that place would be. And somehow it's inspiring, and the music seems fresh. I mean, it's always fresh, you know, but there is something about it. You know, he'll, but besides that, sometimes he'll say, these are the changes, these are the chord changes I got from Al Haig, who of course was Charlie Parker's pianist. And so you're getting the source, like these are the chord changes that were used by these people at this time. And so that of course influences the music, you know. And sometimes they'll talk about what happened at the recording session and different things they discussed, and you know how things evolved. And I think some of it is going to be subconscious, how the music then flows from that. But we're all just blown away. And let me tell you, Bill is 93. And he's more youthful than both of us. And when he leaves, he peels out with the car, you know. So he's,
Oh,
yeah, he has a little bit of a lead foot. I don't know if I should say that. Bill, forgive me for saying that.
you already said it.
I already said it. But I mean, everything about him is youthful, you know. He comes over and he's looking now that the spring flowers are, you know, he's so excited about the spring flowers and everything, you know. It's a positive, it's seeing life through his eyes is inspiring, you know. It makes everything feel good. And then when we play music, there's there's an energy to his bass playing that's, I have to be honest, you know, we live in this area, New York, New Jersey area, with all the world's greatest bass players. We've all played with them. There's something about his bass playing that's different. It's an approach that's different. And there's a spirit and a drive to it that's unbelievable. And you realize that age, like we can all share, it's like one of the only things where there's no discrimination in the workplace. I mean, I know what people like when they're like reach 55 in a corporate world, people are thinking about them to retire, you know, and they feel like devalued by 60 or 60. It's terrible. But like here in jazz, you can be 93 and you can be with somebody 13 or whatever, and nobody thinks anything of it at all. It's like
Right.
why can't life be like that in general, you know, across the board? And Bill brings that, and we're just fortunate. We realize it every time, you know?
And you know that gratitude and appreciation for the masters, the appreciation to just the thought that he's choosing with someone 93. They don't waste time.
Right.
You know, they don't have to do anything.
Right.
But to decide to spend his hours, his minutes with you.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? That he's making a choice at 93 to play
I know.
in a trio with you two. How awesome is that?
It's
And so when we talk about you know, being young at heart and you know, the organic nature of the gel that you all create as far as creating music and feeling, and how sensitive you have to be to create music. A question for both of you. How did you start doing this? Or how did you learn to play? What was the beginning? What was your beginning?
Would you like to go?
Go first. I'm the youngest of the children in my house. My my mother especially, loved music, and so every minute of the day she was singing. She wasn't a singer, but she sang well. She knew all the So I heard all the standards my whole life. It was almost like brainwashing, So it was 24 hours a day. I think I knew all the standards like when I was a little kid, because it was all day, every day. And she loved Billie Holiday and Artie Shaw and Errol Garner, and this stuff was played all day long. So my brother's, he's not a professional guitarist, but he's a guitarist. My other brother's a drummer. I think not professional, but they play. And I guess it was just hearing jazz and big band era music, big band jazz. My entire life, I had no choice for me.
Are you happy about your choice?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
And see, maybe because you made the choice, you'll live to be 93 too, or beyond.
Well,
because it seems that passion seems to keep us all alive, right?
That's what I think. I think that sometimes I see people that are my age or older than me, and they have a routine where everything is worked out, they want it, everything predictable every single day, And when I look at Bill, he actually goes about life. It seems like a little kid, like when somebody's fascinated by something and it's a new experience. And I realized that music and improvisation and the fact that we're always meeting new people and sharing the bandstand with new people, and there's new places and nothing is ever the same, that I think some of that childhood curiosity and intrigue, and I think it works to keep people young, actually. Their minds are young. They're not kind of they didn't freeze themselves and stop learning. This is what keeps Bill, who's 93, seeming more positive and younger, than me or Leonieke. And I think the music is really the key. Roy Haynes, same thing. It's you sense these people's energy, and you're like, oh my God, it's unbelievable.
Yes.
So
that's
music,
great.
I think, I think it can have that effect.
Well, it obviously does. I mean, he's living proof. So are you. All right, young lady. So how'd you get started doing this? I mean, did you have no choice too? No, but it sounds like, we all have choices, but it's just when you hear something and it becomes a part of your fiber, it becomes a part of your being, that the glow of your being outshines every star. I mean, maybe, that it just is. You don't have to think about it. You just have to be it. Yeah. So how did you get, what inspires you? How did you get started?
Well, I think in a similar way, music was always playing through the house. We had Jimmy Smith, Billie Holiday, Marvin Gaye, just like a whole collage of different types of music. There was some classical, and I think growing up, I just loved the music, listening to it. And we had this movie called Ray, which was based on Ray Charles. That's another one, always on. So my parents, they showed me the movie Ray, just playing. And I think I didn't necessarily understand it, but the music in the movie really captivated me. So I think you could say it too. Like, I watched it over and over and over, kind of to like an obsession. And I guess my dad tells a story. He said that.
Well, I will tell, because I have an older daughter too, Natasha, who's she's going to graduate school. In fact, I think she's graduating next month from Manus, and with opera. And what I did was, from day one, I was pushing her in the stroller with ear training tapes. I'm not kidding, interval tapes and everything.
Wow.
And violin lessons from like as early as she could be, all throughout high school and everything, But Leonieke, I didn't think she was interested in music at first. And so I didn't push her. I figured, well, I already kind of went crazy with this other one with music. So I kind of left her alone. I figured, they'll be whatever they're going to be. But she became obsessed with Ray Charles at like 5 or 6 years old or something like that. obsessed, really. And she went to the piano one day, and I'm not kidding you. She played from the very first touch of the piano. She put down like chords, I think it was in A minor, and she's playing against it and independently with both hands. I taught music. I still teach music. I've never seen anything like it from day one, you know. And then around 5 or 6 years old, she was creating music that sounds to this day really hip, like James Brown, real syncopated stuff. And then at a certain point, I thought, I have to do something, but I don't want the wrong teacher, because I don't want somebody saying, stop, you don't know what you're doing, you don't even know what fingers you're playing, we got to do lightly row. And so I sought out Steve Ash, who's a great player, and she's still with him to this day. And he was just fantastic. He's unbelievable teacher. And he teaches in a very unorthodox way, for her at least. Anyway, I don't know how he does with the other students, but it's a lot of ear training. It's a lot of, you know, creativity. This is a possibility. What would you do with this? And she'll deal with that for like 2 hours, and then until she can't handle anymore, and then she'll experiment with it and come back. But he took her to Barry Harris, and at a young age, and she played for Barry Harris. And I said to Barry Harris, I said, I don't know what to do. You know, do I really try to push the reading and everything? And he said to me, let her be free. Let her be. And yeah.
I just want to mention the creative approach, I think, was always a part of it, because when you said like I first started playing, what my dad didn't say was that he would give me like little games to say like, oh, play me, I don't know, a train or the sun rising. And a lot of times there were things that don't necessarily have like an exact sound, so I'd have to make up like little things to mimic it. And going forward with the lessons, I would pick a song, maybe it was popular by a lot of people, or maybe it was one of the more obscure tunes, and I would say I'd really like to learn this. And so he would give me ideas, go home, play through them. Steve, Mr. Ash, and then come up with more ideas, bring them to him, and it would go back and forth like this. So over time, these students have been really well developed with like this creative, I guess, arranging qualities.
Yeah, he's a unique teacher, Steve Ash. It's a unique approach. Gives her ideas, and he plays, and do you like this sound, and what would you, and they go back and forth, and he has 2 pianos, and then sometimes they'll trade back and forth, or he'll ask her to imitate what he's doing by ear. It's a lot of ear training, and she always leaves every lesson completely inspired. It's always been that way, every lesson. So but the right teacher meant a lot. I think the wrong teacher would have destroyed it. You know, if I brought it to a teacher that said, stop doing what you're doing, this is finger number 1, this is 2, this is 3, we're going to start with, you know, whatever it was, I think she would have stopped. But I think he met her where she wanted and filled in the gaps along the way, you know.
And you know that, thank you so much for sharing that, because when people hear you perform, or hear you play, or hear you have fun, or whatever you want to call what you do in that moment, it's freedom. And, you know, freedom always feels good. Freedom always sounds good, you know, and we're all gifted with our own individual talents, and the freedom to express yourself the way that you were made is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine you know, the fun that the audience is going to have watching you all completely express yourselves to your fullest, enjoying every moment, enjoying every tune, enjoying every sound, enjoying 3 generations of music, right. 3 generations of sound, 3 generations of interpretations, and just the freedom to express that. So I think my last question for the 2 of you, because you've shared a lot, is what can people expect? Or maybe you're not sure. What can people expect Sunday?
Well, that's a good question. I think, speaking of the 3 generations, I think there will be some of the earlier tunes that Mr. Crow played a lot, you know, playing some Billie Holiday tunes from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and also some tunes from Horace Silver, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, and Yeah, I guess different arrangements,
That's
different
funny.
compositions.
That's the current stuff. The most modern stuff is 1955.
You weren't even born. You weren't even thought about, probably.
She's an old soul, you know. It's funny because I don't know if the organist Dr. Lonnie Smith, we went to. By the way, the reason why I should mention this because Leonieke, it's a Dutch name, but we're not Dutch. We lived in the Netherlands on and off from before you were born and while you were young, 2000 to 2006. And I used to play with a pianist named Leonieke, and my wife liked the name, so that's how she has the Dutch name. So we went to visit, and Dr. Lonnie Smith was performing in Groningen, the city Groningen, when she was about 10 years old, and a mutual friend introduced us, and I showed Dr. Lonnie Smith her playing, and he said, "You've been here before. Would you play the organ if I gave you one?" And he wrote down all the information, and he sent two guys from Rhode Island, and they arrived at my house with a Hammond organ for her. But he swears like she's been here before, he says, and I mean, I don't know. Depends on what you believe, but there is something, I don't know. So the music, though, it seems to me to be all modern in a way. It's all, there's no, in fact, when Bill was playing with Gerry Mulligan in the Pianist Quartet, he was doing almost the most avant-garde stuff in the 1950s. He was like the cutting-edge experimental bass player for that generation, And so that's another thing that's really exciting is this guy who's such a creative force that has this lineage of knowing tunes that, oh, this tune my mother used to sing to me, and it's a tune that it's like, well, the Easter bonnet carries, some kind of some title you never heard before. And then also playing all the stuff that, he also had a gig with Duke Ellington, and so all this other stuff. So it's, I don't think we go too modern. You played Bill Withers. I think that was the most modern thing was Bill Withers, but it's not really. I guess that's still like 50 years old right now, but that's modern, I guess.
So question. Okay, with your daughter, who is are we going to hear some opera Sunday?
I don't. Probably not. I mean, maybe come and sing. She might sing. She'll do a few. Leonieke is always asking her, "Why can't you sing more like Ernestine Anderson?"
Oh my gosh!
And then why can't you play Mozart? But they can meet somewhere along the way with Cole Porter. Sometimes they could do like Angel Eyes, or Cole Porter, like Someone in Love, Someone Love, or something like that. But I'll see if I can. No, she's not going to be around. She's visiting her boyfriend in Long Island, so she won't be around.
Oh well, next time.
Next time.
I don't know.
Well, go ahead, Leonieke.
Well, I don't know if you'll be around, but I did want to invite you if you want to sing a tune with us.
If you're around, I would love. If you're around,
that may be possible.
That would be.
I'm rearranging my schedule now so that I can at least come to see a piece of it, because I know that you all, and that was a great segue, by the way.
Yes,
and see how organic this is, for jazz across the generations. This Sunday, April 18th, beginning at 3 p.m. outdoors at the Fox and the Falcon, located at, I believe, 19 Valley Street in South Orange, New Jersey. So if all of you are around, make sure that you converge on this event. I plan on being there. I'm not sure what time, so I won't give you an exact time, but I'll come prepared with keys and all that. Not that I need to give you all anything. We could probably just stand there and just kind of organically see where this goes. But 3 generations of jazz for Jazz Appreciation Month. So my name is Lynette Shear, and on behalf of Greg Burrus Productions, that's a tongue twister. Say that 3 times. Gregory Burrus Productions. Gregory Burrus Productions. Gregory Burrus Productions. Come on and check us out this Sunday, the 18th, at the Fox and the Falcon. Jazz Across the Generations with the Leonieke Scheuble Trio with Nick Scheuble and the legendary Bill Crow.
Bill's book.
Show the book.
Here's Bill Crow. This is a great book, a collection of stories from all the musicians he played with, Lester Young, all the, it's incredible.
And you all get a chance to see these people live. So don't miss it. Okay? You're going to have your own stories to tell. Oh, I saw them this year. So, get to see them now, especially while they're in New Jersey, because once COVID is kind of over, they're going to be all over the place. So you better get them now. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Gregory.
So have a wonderful evening, you all. And thank you so much for joining us. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.